S.E. Cupp decided to try and take on Bill Nye, the science guy, on the issue of science, because, of course, her and her little Heritage Foundation buddy, who is supposedly an expert in economics, they naturally know more about science than the science guy.
Even if what Van and the White House are saying is all true, the scare tactics have not worked.
Let me ask you, before you go on.
Well, no, let me finish my question.
Let's talk about the facts. You're saying that
No, let me finish my question, Bill. I want you to take a look at this polling. Only about 36% of Americans think global warming is a serious threat to our way of life. Now, again, let me posit. Everything that Van and the White House have said is true. However, the scare tactics have not worked, and don't you need public consensus to move the needle on this?
So how do you want to get public consensus? By saying that it's not happening, that it's not serious, that shorelines aren't flooding, that we're not...
No, I want you to advise the politicians.
Advise the politicians.
Because they're not, whatever they're doing, whatever Van is doing to scare the public is not changing public opinion.
Inform the public, but go right ahead.
Tell us how to use the science to actually change public consensus.
Well, you get the message out that this is serious business. And, you know, if you live in Oklahoma, where tornadoes have wiped your town out a couple times, you chose Alaska, which is remote generally, but when you remember Hurricane Sandy, the bottom half of Manhattan was flooded.
Yeah.
The economic effect of that alone is enormous, let alone the rebuilding infrastructure and so on. And we're in the developed world, where people can get on the highway and drive. You know, when you say moving a highway 4 feet, it doesn't sound like very much, but you're talking about millions of tons of road that have to be lifted, and that energy has to come from somewhere, and that's just the start of things. And so when we start having crop failures, and the drought that's in California continues, the economic cost...
Yeah, well, you can look at these things, and you can look at the climate realities, and even this NCA report says that the trend on tornadoes isn't certain. The IPCC report says that the trend on hurricanes is uncertain. We're in the longest hurricane drought. I'm not a denier. I'm not a skeptic. What I'm saying is the climate is changing. Yes, man-made emissions are in some part to that, but we haven't seen these extreme weather event trends. The observed data doesn't prove that. More importantly is the policy prescriptions, these greenhouse gas regulations coming down, prohibiting building new coal-fired power plants is just going to make us less equipped, less economically prosperous to handle these problems, whether they're, more frequent and more intense or not.
So let's just start with, we don't agree on the facts, right? So this third report came out saying it's very serious. You say no. Right? There's the essence of the problem, S.E. Well, the science, the researchers say yes,
not all the researchers. And again, even the IPCC says that there's no frequency or intensity when it comes to hurricanes.
Okay, hurricane, schmurricane, if I may.
This one says about tornadoes. That's the same thing. Yeah, sea level is rising, although it's retracted. It's increasing at a slower rate over the past few years. We've had Arctic ice globally increasing.
Data? I think
no, not absolutely.
Why did this report come out?
But Bill, isn't it a problem when science guys attempt to bully other people? I mean, Nick here had to say, I'm not a denier. He had to get it up. I'm not a denier, because really, the science group has tried to shame anyone who dares question this. Okay. And the point I'm trying to make is it's not working with the public.
I don't even know where to begin with this nonsense. First of all, the poll that she quoted is absolute bullshit, because it said, if you noticed, does global warming pose a serious threat to your way of life? Your way of life. So it was framed in a very specific way to try to suit her purposes, where people go, for me, no, not necessarily, or I don't know, and it was a low number, right? Well, how about this? The Georgetown Public Policy Institute found that 87% of Americans support EPA action on climate change, including 78% of Republicans and 94% of Democrats. So when you frame the poll question to say, well, does global warming pose a serious threat to your way of life? Yeah, people might say, well, I don't see how it would necessarily affect me specifically, so no. But when you ask the question more broadly, would you be in favor of government action to stop global warming or climate change? 87% say yes. So what you're doing, SE, is you're cherry-picking information to try to fit your already held belief system and your already held ideology, and you're saying, well, look, when you bully, it's not working. Well, again, it is working because they want to take climate action, okay? But furthermore, yes, science can be quite the bully. You act like oh, she said that they're bullying. It must be bad. They should probably soften their rhetoric and not talk about what the actual data says. No. Just like we say on this show all the time. In fact, my bracelet says it. Facts are stubborn things. Yes, facts can be quite a bully. It's not a democratic process. Science is not a democratic process where we say, oh, everybody's opinion is equally valid here, guys. It's equally true if global warming is happening and it's not happening. No. The truth is very rigid. The truth is very blunt. The truth is abrasive. The truth can be a bully. And what's happening right now is, yes, reality is smacking people in the face and it's saying, hey, dummy, look at the studies. Global warming is happening. In fact, show the chart. Okay, this pie chart, we've shown this on the show before, for everybody listening on the radio. It's that chart that shows that well over 99% of all of the peer-reviewed studies on climate change, they all say it's real, it's happening, and it's man-made. That little tiny little sliver of red right there, okay? Those are the only studies out of over, 13,000 studies or so that say, we don't come to the exact same conclusion as the rest. So almost every study, every peer-reviewed study is like, yes, it's happening. And then the last thing I'll say is, when they bring up that, oh, it's going to be so expensive and we can't afford to do it, and this is crazy, it's going to fuck up the economy. Are you kidding me? The exact opposite is true. There's nothing but economic opportunity when it comes to climate change. Because green technology is the next boom that's waiting to happen. You know, we had the internet boom. Well, the next boom is going to be the green technology boom. You know, whether it's focusing more on solar power and wind power and geothermal or thorium. Thorium is my favorite because if it wasn't for the fact that ExxonMobil has a fucking stranglehold and the oil companies have a stranglehold on our government, we would already have gone further down the road of thorium production and thorium research, because thorium is essentially nuclear power, but it's meltdown proof. So you get all the benefits of clean nuclear energy without worrying about a Chernobyl or a 3-mile, 5-mile island, whatever it's called, or a Fukushima. So that's the future. There's so many jobs to be created in that area, and there's so much wealth creation just waiting to happen.